that balled hard, had a different game, and it pissed everybody off, including the little gals on ES.
And all these expectations. What are the expectations for Paige Bueckers going to the next level?
By the way, Greeny, you were correct. It is going to be a new jersey for Paige.
Overall pick of the WNBA draft, Paige Bueckers. Will she receive the Caitlin Clark? Eye gouging.
Caitlin Clark just showed up in a State Farm commercial that has everyone talking, and it's not just about insurance. She's actually hyping up Paige Bueckers and the entire 2025 WNBA draft class in a power move that's shaking up women's basketball marketing. This is huge because we're seeing Clark, who hasn't even finished her rookie season, already positioning herself as the face that launches the next generation of stars.
You have new trades and acquisitions to win it all in the first year. That stands in basketball, but still, the depth of that roster, but more importantly, that championship.
Paige Bueckers, racially confused, speaks like a lot of your friends do. I always told guys, why do you guys speak different when you're talking to an African American?
When was the last time you saw a rookie promoting future draft picks? That's what makes this commercial different from anything we've seen before.
As we have ever seen. And at the WNBA, you want players that can do work, that can do damage against teams.
Paige Bueckers is that girl. A little racially confused, sexual orientation to be determined, but there is a lot of talk. Anyway, she's one of the...
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
What do? You want to show that you can win, and they went out and won the offseason. If it's cool, can we put that graphic back up? Because I think it's missing some key.
Will she? I don't know. I don't think so. Once she officially hits the WNBA, there is already a suggestion, though.
Have you noticed how Caitlin Clark isn't just dominating on the court, but is now taking over our TV screens too? This State Farm commercial is different from anything we've seen before. Instead of the usual athlete endorsement where they're just selling a product, Clark is using her platform to build excitement about the future of women's basketball. Let me break this down for you. The commercial puts Caitlin in that familiar State Farm setting we all know. But there's a twist. She's not just talking about insurance rates or coverage plans. She's actively hyping up Paige Bueckers and the entire 2025 draft class.
New Jersey.
Right? Very likely going to be a Dallas Wings jersey for Paige. What are the expectations? Honestly, she fits in effortlessly.
Caitlin Clark was not. Caitlin Clark was clearly heterosexual, handled herself with grace, just balled out and competitive as hell between the lines.
That's something we almost never see from rookies in any sport. Think about it. Most first-year players are laser-focused on proving themselves, grabbing spotlight, and establishing their own brand. They're not typically concerned with promoting future players who might steal some of their thunder. But Clark, she's flipping the script completely. In one of the most telling scenes, the commercial cuts to footage at the Empire State Building where the draft prospects gathered. Clark is right there in the mix, engaging with these future stars, actively welcoming them to the league she just entered herself. It's like she's already positioning herself as a mentor figure rather than just another competitor fighting for attention. The most jaw-dropping moment, Clark actually calls out Paige Bueckers by name. She says something like, "Players like Paige are going to take this league to new heights," literally sharing the spotlight in her own commercial. Who does that, especially as a rookie still establishing herself?
Dominate being on television and everything about television, which means on the best shows, which means in the best commercials.
Understand that they have a transcendent player in Caitlin Clark with so many fans, all the attention. People that don't even follow sports still follow Caitlin Clark.
State Farm's marketing team deserves major props here. By featuring Clark this way, they're setting her up as the bridge between current WNBA stars and the next generation. This makes her infinitely more valuable as a long-term ambassador than if she was just another player promoting insurance.
For Caitlin Clark in her second season.
W's. The Indiana Fever, they won the offseason and they made the most of the moment. They understood
that the former Connecticut Husky star can be given a much easier ride than Clark once she's in the NBA. You can make book on it.
You can really see Clark's support for the 2025 class in those scenes where she's watching draft prospect highlights and nodding approvingly. It's subtle but powerful. She's giving her stamp of approval to these upcoming players. The commercial wraps with an absolute gem. Clark saying, "Like a good neighbor, I'm here for the next generation." That's not just a catchy line, it's a perfect twist on State Farm's iconic slogan that captures exactly what makes this commercial special. Behind Clark's neighborly declaration lies a business strategy most fans completely miss. What if I told you State Farm isn't actually selling insurance in this commercial? They're selling something much more valuable: the future of women's basketball itself. And their timing with the Dallas Wings holding that #1 pick is definitely no coincidence.
Caitlin Clark got beat up last year because Caitlin Clark was everything the women who she stood on the shoulders of weren't.
We need great games. We need great performances. We need you now. She just delivered in the biggest ways. 30-piece, 40-piece, 30-piece in the tournament. But most importantly, she cut down the nets.
Look at how most brands handle endorsements. They grab whoever's hot right now, milk their fame for a few months, then dump them when the next star comes along. But State Farm? They're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. They position themselves as investors in the entire women's basketball ecosystem, not just riding Clark's current wave of popularity. This long-term vision makes so much sense when you think about it. By highlighting the Dallas Wings' #1 pick and creating buzz around Bueckers potentially landing there, State Farm keeps fans engaged with both the WNBA and their brand long after the commercial stops airing. Every time someone debates who Dallas might pick, State Farm's marketing strategy keeps working for them. The commercial's timing is absolutely brilliant too, dropping it right before the draft, when basketball fans are already hyped, maximizes its impact.
Of the WNBA, particularly when you're Caitlin Clark and you dominate the scene, you dominate the ads,
and I believe that in her future, that's in her cards as well in the WNBA.
And so for the second straight year, we have these incredibly famous players coming into the league.
But more importantly, it establishes Clark as someone who genuinely cares about growing the league, not just her own personal brand. That authenticity translates to real credibility for State Farm. What makes this approach even more fascinating is how it's impacting Bueckers' own career trajectory. Did you know Bueckers just signed a 3-year deal with Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 basketball league? Her first salary there will reportedly match what she'd make in 4 years in the WNBA. State Farm is tapping into this growing financial landscape for women's basketball players, where endorsements and alternative leagues are creating new opportunities. State Farm seems to understand something fundamental that other brands don't. The WNBA story isn't about individual stars anymore. It's about the collective rise of women's basketball as a powerhouse sport. By connecting Clark to future talents like Bueckers, they're not just creating a sustainable marketing strategy, they're helping write the next chapter of women's sports. It's a page straight from their Jake from State Farm playbook. Start with one character or athlete, then expand into a cultural phenomenon that transcends the individual. Clark isn't just their spokesperson. She's becoming the face that launches 1,000 careers. And that's what makes this State Farm ad so revolutionary.
But very nice, subdued, and hung out with her boyfriend off the court. That is a formula for disaster with the angry lesbians.
In college, like you mentioned, she's battle tested. It's her persistence, but what I love the most is her efficiency. She is one of the most efficient guards.
It's not just Clark getting a paycheck, it's her laying groundwork for a totally different kind of WNBA future. What we're seeing is the evolution of sports marketing in women's basketball happening right before our eyes. The commercial signals a massive shift in how leagues build excitement. Instead of just promoting today's stars, they're creating storylines that span multiple draft classes. This approach isn't just smart for State Farm, it could become the blueprint for growing viewership across women's sports. Clark and Bueckers might just become the marketing duo that transforms how we experience women's basketball for years to come.